Hey y'all, so I thought I'd just come on for a little bit. I know I've staggered about my whole YouTube channel, and sorry about that. Trying to get familiar or used to being on camera. So it's a whole process. You're gonna go with me. So, welcome to the journey. Hope everybody's having a great Tuesday. Hope you got your coffee, your little witchy. I put a spell on you. Don't ask me where I got this cup. I probably was Burlington Coat Factory or something like that. Who knows? Been years ago I've had it. It has a little spoon with it. Blah, 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 blah. But I never used the spoon. Anyway, first of all, I want to shout out to everybody that has a Libra birthday. I know we're almost going out of Libra season, but hey. But especially Sacred Libra. Yesterday I watched your YouTube channel or your YouTube and about your birthday. Yes, Queen, birthday was born yesterday. So, that is exciting. And then anyone else that had a Libra birthday, shout out to you. I'm a Libra. My birthday is September 24th. Ha! To any of my fellow Libra September 24th twins out there. So it's been a morning, but I hope everybody's having a great morning. Keep your head up if you're not. Keep working through it. Keep being positive. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. It is what it is. Also, you're going to find me coughing or clearing my throat. I have asthma. It is what it is. Weather's changing here in lovely Kansas. So, welcome to the worst place to have asthma and live. Or one of the worst places to have asthma and live. So, I am just going to start pulling cards. Because that's kind of just how I do it. I have this Earthly Souls and Spirits Oracle by Terry Foss and Sarah Robinson. I think I got these cards on Temu. But I really like the pictures and stuff. They really speak to me. Kind of witchy, kind of owlish, Which, by the way, I still have to tell you my owl story. Which, I guess I could go ahead and do that. And if things pop up, sorry, Charlie, I've tried to stop it and it's not stopping. So, just so everybody has a little bit about me. So, I am 54 years old. Yeah, I don't mind saying my age. And everybody tells me I don't look 54, so thank you. I have really good genes. I don't know where I got them from. So, but I do. I am divorced. Was married for 24 years. Didn't work out. Got divorced. I have 4 grown sons. Which, they probably won't want me to say their name on here, but whatever. But they're all grown. And then I have 4 grandchildren. So I have a boyfriend, actually a fiance, and he is quite younger than me, so there's that. So my owl story, which is going to actually pertain to my 4th son, Zane. So too bad, Zane. Gotta say your name to tell the story. Well, actually I have to tell all of the names, but that's okay. Anyway, so Zane was born in 2003. And my father, who I was very close to, passed away in 2001. And I took his death very hard. didn't get out of bed for 2 weeks. Everybody thought I was like going to kill myself, which I don't understand why, because I also don't believe in suicide. I mean, it happens. I don't believe in it. So if you're thinking about killing yourself, think again, because it does not heal what is going on. It doesn't heal you. It doesn't heal your family. In fact, it makes things worse. And I have another story to that I will tell about that happened in my life that I know personally why it's not beneficial. So if you think you're going to do that, it doesn't work. And the reason why I will tell you in that story why I don't believe that. But I don't believe in suicide. I don't believe in doing it. I don't believe it's going to help anything. I don't think it's going to cure your issues. I don't think it's going to cure your problem. I don't think you're going to go to heaven over it, but I'm not God either. So, and the Bible supposedly says one thing and life says another. And that's my dog, Toby. Toby Hush. So, back to my house story. My father also was the one that told me that you don't go to heaven if you kill yourself. Again, when I tell that story, I will. So anyway, my father passed away in 2001 unexpectedly at 55 years old. Granted, I'm getting close to 55, so I'm getting scared, but because I'm afraid that I will repeat those things. But he died of a very bad stroke unexpectedly. And things in our family were not well. We were all not getting along. My older brother, especially my older brother and I do not get along at all. And then I have a younger brother. So I got along with him at that time, but now him and I don't get along after our mother passed too in 2018. So anyway, my father passed away February 1st. At like 2:58 in the morning a.m. And February 1st is like, kind of a sacred holy day for me. It's a day I take really hard. So I unexpectedly got pregnant with Zane. Go figure. When do you ever really plan getting pregnant? I mean, some people do, but that's never worked out in my life. I was on the Depo-Provera shot for 8 years. And I got off it. I was told that it would be 18 months before my body would start regulating, that I'd have to worry about taking birth control because I was married at that time. And come to find out, 2 weeks later, I got pregnant. Go figure. So I was pregnant with Zane, and it was a very up and down emotional pregnancy. I was having issues where I was like doubling in weight and water weight. Like I bloomed out. And the doctors couldn't understand why I was having these dreams about my father. And very vivid dreams. Very, very vivid dreams. Like he would tell me, what would you do if something was wrong with a baby? So, dreams like that. Felt like I was a little on the crazy side, which maybe I am, but that's beside the point. So, and everybody thought I was going to name him after my dad, which I had no intentions of doing it. I picked Zane because actually my older children all did wrestling and football. So we went to wrestling meets, and I actually saw a kid named Zane. I spell it Zane. And like always, I research everything. I am horrible about that. So I researched everything, and Zane means God's chosen one. It's also another name for John in the Bible. And I'm not gonna thump you on the whole Bible thing. Sorry. You take it or leave it how you want it. It's what your religion is what your religion is. What you believe in is what you believe in. I believe that your relationship with God and you is between you and God. Nobody else. I don't believe in the church. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I researched it. Zane meant also another name for John. So I had already decided I was going to pick the name Zane. Well, my mom was like, why don't you go down and look? So when my dad passed away, I inherited the house I grew up in, which was his house. And basically everything of his, we kind of just packed up and put down in the basement because nobody could deal with his stuff. And I, unfortunately, moved into the house like he died in February and I moved in at the end of April. So we packed and pretty much put a lot of his stuff down in the basement. And my dad read cowboy books, is what we called them. And so my mom was like, why don't you go down and look at your dad's stuff? And so I went down and looked, and of course, Zane Grey was one of his favorite authors or books that he liked to read. So that was like a cool feeling there. And then, I kept having issues. I did every test under the sun. Again, I kept having these dreams about my dad. So the house I lived on had a porch, and I'd go and sit out on the porch. Well, growing up, we had owls we had 2 electric poles like in the front of our house. And the owls would come and sit on the electric poles, and my dad would hoo at them. And the owls would come and actually sit on the front porch. Like probably from where my camera is to me. And every night they'd come and do that. I actually had 2 sets of owls. So I had 4 owls altogether. And they'd land on my little table outside on my front porch. I had a little couch, an older set from 1950s or 60s with a couch and a chair and a little table. And then I had another little table. So they'd kind of either come sit on the armchair of the chair or the couch or the tables. They'd turn and look at me, do their heads 360, blink at me, and then fan out and sit there for hours. We'd sit there. I would be scared to death. I was like, oh my God, what on earth is happening here? And everybody's like, oh, that's a sign from your dad. And so many signs from my father. It's not funny. But they still couldn't figure out what was going on with me. And 2 days after Christmas, I did a stress test because they still couldn't figure it out. I was doing sonograms every 2 weeks, and I have so many sonograms of Zane because he looked fine. Everything looked fine. They couldn't figure out why I was gaining weight. It wasn't diabetes. They checked everything, and they could not figure out why. They were like, well, you kind of have signs of, the pregnancy diabetes. No. It came up negative. I went for a stress test that day. Passed it. Passed the stress test. Later on that evening, I'm supposed to get ready to go to work. I go ahead and make everybody some soup and grilled cheese, and my water breaks. And we're in December. And so we rushed me to the hospital. And the hospital I went to, they couldn't take me because simply it was going to be prenatal. They didn't have a NIC unit. So I pretty much they were trying to find a hospital for me to go to that had a NIC unit. There are 2 here locally, and whichever one called them back first, that's when I was going to. So I went to KU Hospital. And basically my body was making the water. So they decided as long as my body was still making the water, I just was going to sit in it. And so from December 26th or 7th to February 1st, I literally laid in the hospital in wetness every day. Was not fun, was not what I wanted it to be. My dad is a sheet metal worker, union sheet metal worker, worked for Call Roofing, and too bad if they don't want me to say their name either. Call Roofing, sheet metal. And guess who's working on KU? Call Roofing and Sheet Metal. Right outside my window. And so I'd had Brooks and Haxton's the whole time I was there. I had it. Like, I was doing contractions, supposedly. The whole time I was there, I basically was doing court reporting at that time for court reporting school. So I was still with my court reporting machine in my bed, practicing away on tapes. Still trying to live my life. And Zane originally was supposed to be born in April. Actually, April Fool's Day is when he was due. And February 1st, I had terrible pains, and none of the nurses came in to check on me. None of them came in to change my bedding that day. I was totally in pain. No one came in to check me. I kept pushing that button. Nobody came. One nurse came in and said, "You've had this the whole time you've been here, so you're fine." Blah, blah, blah. So basically this was like the day before February 1st. So my then husband at that time gets off work and checks the kids. My brother is watching my kids, my older kids. And basically he comes and checks in, sees I'm in pain. I having a hard time getting to the bathroom, like I'm crawling to the bathroom. So basically they came in finally and checked me after my then husband goes and complains to them about that nobody's came and changed my bedding for the day. It's soaked and I can't get up and go to the bathroom. Nobody even came and brought me food. That's the sad part. Like, I hadn't even ate all day because nobody for some reason didn't come and check on me at all. So I am dilated to like almost 10 at that point. So they go ahead and decide to go ahead and start labor overnight. Like, it just became like this huge, thing. Anyway, Zane was born February 1st. To the minute, my father passed away. Yes. I literally had Zane rolled over and cried because that's not how I wanted this to be. I did not want, the reincarnation of my father. But I feel like that's what I got, was the reincarnation. And I did not ever believe in reincarnation either. So, but that's kind of what I got, was the reincarnation of my father through Zane, which was really good because it made me realize what really I am put on this earth for. That I am put on this earth to be a mother or, to reinforce me. So I had Zane, and, when it rains, it pours. Zane was born at 5 pounds, 15 ounces. And of course he was early, like 10 weeks early. And so his stomach hadn't fully developed. Got down, literally he lost weight and got down to under 2 pounds and was like the size of my ex-husband's hand. And so Zane stayed like another 6 months in the hospital. They were just like, get out. You're out. So every day I went to the hospital to feed Zane, also still doing court reporting school, and taking care of 3 boys. So, it was quite interesting in our life at that point. And, butted some heads with family members. Some family members thought I was going to let our son die. No. Our insurance decided that they did not want to pay for him to stay in the hospital anymore. They had him on a special formula, blah, blah, blah. And basically they decided they would pay for a in-home nurse to come in. And like, I got this elderly in-home nurse. She was very elderly. And basically she was just like, you're going to do things my way. We're not going to do things, per se, the way everything should be. We're going to do things my way. And basically she made the formula from like 1969 or whatever that everybody was making. She made that formula. And then he pretty much like doubled in weight. And you couldn't tell like he was behind it all. He was smart as a whip. He, met all his metrics, doing great. He's huge now. I can't help you. Like, all my kids are huge. Like, they're all meat and potato kids. So, but then when Zane started to talk, he'd start telling me stories about a year old. 9 months to a year old. He would tell me stories about my dad that only I knew. Like, my dad got shot right here. I got shot right here. Zane, that was... My boys called my dad Ball Paul. That was Ball Paul. Mom, I remember when you and I went horseback riding, and that was me and my dad's thing, for him and I to go horseback riding. We had horses growing up. And, no, Zane, we never went horseback riding. We're only a year old. We never went horseback riding. Yeah, Mama, we did. You remember we went horseback riding. No, Zane. Zane would tell me so many things about, Ball Paul's sitting over there, I thought I was losing my mind. I would literally have a conversation with Zane and then have to leave and go into the other room and just start crying. But yeah, that's kind of my owl story. Like, I was into owls before then anybody else kind of was into owls. Like, my dad hooted the owls. Owls came and visited me. And even then, the owls still were visiting me. The owls were still visiting me on the porch, or they would come into the yard, or they'd sit at the top of the electric and hoot at me. So, yeah, that's kind of my owl story. Like, owls don't come near people, and for owls to come and land on your porch, not even a feet from you, maybe 2 feet from you, if that, and then, do their 360 degree of their neck, blink their eyes and fan out, is quite something. And even living in that house, because I don't live there anymore, which is another story in itself, I still had owls, in the dead of winter, winter owls come, and that's not normal for Kansas either. So I had all kinds of owls come up to me. So yeah, I love owls. Zane probably was about 7, and that's when he kind of quit the stories about my father. And again, everybody thought I was going to name him after my dad, and I didn't. Everybody was a little upset that I didn't, but I didn't want him to have the stigma of him being of my father, even though there were various similarities or things that he talked about that, he shouldn't have known. There's no way he should have known that my dad got shot. Only I knew that. There's no way he knew about, the horses. And he loved horses just like my dad loved horses. That's kind of my owl story. So everybody says I should write it down so he remembers it. He hates it now. He hates the owl story. He's like, really, Mom? So, you know, but it is what it is. So anyway, I have not really pulled a card yet. And I've talked too much. And so we're just going to key in to see what Spirit is wanting. So Spirit, let's just pull a card for the collective and see. And oh, by the way, you know, like, if this resonates with you, take it. If it don't resonate with you, leave it. Don't build your life or set your life on a reading, or, you know, decide that, oh, well, she pulled this card for me, so this is about me. Not necessarily. You know, it's fate, and it is what it is. And I thought I had a card in there, but there we go. Just gonna pull it. Sorry about that. So I got Divinity. And yes, these cards are differently. I don't know if you can see it. I love them. So, of course I have. That still doesn't very well. And it's that light behind me. Huh. There we go. There we go. Maybe. Anyway, it's Divinity. You can see there's a black cat and like a little girl. The full moon out in the woods. And so Divinity, she basically just has like a meaning for each word on there. So divinity can either mean wise, sacred, or deity. Ooh. So that's basically, you know, what divinity is meaning. But I like that. So if any of those things are happening in your life, you know, wise, sacred, deity, kind of goes actually with my story. So, you know, there's that one. So I don't know that I will have any more cards to pull. But I like these. I like the backs of them because also they have like all the moons. Yeah. So like everybody else, totally into the moons. Oh, also I want to do a shout out to Brittany. She has the YouTube channel, whatever, the Tarot Homemaker. I watch her too. And Empress Bella. I watch Empress Bella a lot too. So, well, now she's not Empress Bella anymore, but I can't remember her thing. It's like 333 something. So that's all for those. I'm going to go with these other Oracle cards. I cannot even remember what they're called. That's sad. You ever do that where you bought like a whole bunch of cards all at once? And I have the boxes. Like I've kept the boxes. But I've pulled all the cards out because I just want them to be there so that I can, you know, have them on hand to use them. Like sometimes, I don't know if anyone else is like this, but like the cards call me. It's like, hey, come touch me today. You haven't touched me in a while. Come touch me. Come touch me. Hello. Yeah. That's the way. Shut up, Toby. He thinks that. Toby. No. It's because I knocked that, you know. Toby. Get up here. All right, then go get in your bed. And if there's something you guys want to talk about, feel free to, you know, put it in the chat. Something you want to talk about. I don't know. I'm here. I have an array of experiences. Array of, you know, things happen when you have 4 kids. Especially, I had 3 kids by the age of 22. So, yeah, like I got all my kid things kind of early, and then 9 years passed. There's 9 years between our third son, my third son, and our fourth son. So, yeah. Thought, oh, well, yeah, I'm on the downhill side. No, I had things. Which he was a blessing. I can't say he wasn't a blessing. He taught me, he helped me kind of heal my father. Because, again, I was very depressed, but not suicidal. Sorry, it's not gonna happen. So, and I've gone to lots of therapy, like, oops, there we go. Oh God, I got a whole bunch of cards that came out here. I have 4 cards that came out. Which one is up reverse, but so the first one I have is the Wastelands. The Wastelands. And if somebody knows these cards, feel free to shout it out. I just don't remember what they are, and I don't feel like going and looking at them. So the Wastelands, sustainability, slow down, tend to your garden. That's a good one. I'm kind of in that season right now, an era of my life where, yes, like I have a opportunity to slow down, thus me starting this, to kind of slow down and do some things that I want to do. Do some, you know, as they say, tend to your garden, fill your own cup. What are things that fill your cup? What are things that you want to do in your life that, hey, I haven't done this and I've always wanted to do this. You know, here's a funny story. I've lived in Kansas City all my life. All my life. Actually, Kansas City, Kansas, because there's 2 sides. There's Missouri and Kansas. Anyway, I realized I'd never been down a certain street. I passed that street many times, gazillions of times. Never been down that street. So I drove down that street. It was a dead end. Okay. But just to drive down it, just to see, you know, the houses. I've never been in this area. I've never, you know, drove into this area. I've never, you know, that's the way my mind works. So, yeah, like, slow down, tend to your garden, you know, maybe even, like, you know, spend more time with your kids, or set up a play date with your kids, or, you know, that's if your kids are still talking to you, you know, set those intentions. So that's a good one. The next one is Whispers of Mother Earth. Creativity, ideas, inspiration, artist, writer, channel. I'm not sure if I am, like, you know, showing for anybody else. I don't know if this is like a personal reading or what, but it kind of feels like that. Like I, you know, again, wanted to start my own channel. I wanted to, you know, things that I wanted to do besides just, you know, I always want to think there's more to life than just working and working for somebody else, you know, like, so creative inspiration things. Like if you want to draw or write or, you know, do YouTube channel videos. Who knows? You know, start your own channel, start your own brand. That's a good one. You know, do things that fill you, that can fill your cup again. The next one is the Anointed. Answer the call, leadership, empowerment, and soul gifts. So I thoroughly believe that that is what we are here for, is to encourage each other. We're not here to, again, be robots and work 9 to 5 and have nothing else. There's a there's a reason for relationships. We all have them. We all need them. We all need people in our lives. So yeah, and sometimes, like your intuition or things that call you, that energy that calls you, don't misinterpret that. Don't say, oh, you know what? I had this feeling, or you're thinking about a friend you haven't talked to in forever. Call them. Text them. Hey, what's up? Hey, let's have lunch. Hey, let's go get coffee. Hey, what are you up to? It is what it is. But yeah, those soul gifts, those gifts that fill you, those gifts that align with you. Sorry, I have a lot of pop-ups. So this one is upside down. So I don't know if you can see it very well. I don't know if you could see the other one, the anointed. I don't know if you got to see. That was the anointed, which is different. Almost looks like a ship to me. But then this one, honestly, I thought was like a bat upside down, but it's not. It's a person upside down. So if you want to turn it around, it says a person looking up. And it says open. Say yes. Expand through the extremes. Trust life. Which is very hard. It's very hard to give up control. And that's another thing I have to say about my story. Was very much, they say a baby comes when that baby is ready to come. And that's absolutely true. Me sitting in that bed for over a month in the hospital and realizing, okay, you know what? I was on God's time. I was on God's time. I was on Zane's time. I was on whatever the higher power you want to believe in. It's time. Like, all I could do was sit there in a wet bed, creating water, and wait for him to come out. And then again for him to come out on February 1st, which was not the date I would have planned. I wouldn't have picked that date. February 1st, ugh. It's still a ugh to me. My dad's been dead for 24 years. And that date comes around and it's like, oh. One thing that was funny about before my father passed away, because we never talked about death. We never talked about what he wanted. We never talked about it. And finally, I basically kicked everybody out of the room and said, what do you want, Dad? What do you want me to do? Even though my mom, he's still married to my mom. They weren't getting along, even though I had 2 other brothers. I basically took control and was like, what are we doing? And basically it got to a point where he said he wanted to have a party for him every year when he dies. And so my whole thinking was, oh, well, you got your party because Zane's birthday is February 1st. You got your party every year. So even though I did not believe in reincarnation, that somewhat brought me to believing in reincarnation because of Zane being born on February 1st and him having these same things and, saying certain things to me, about my father that he supposedly knew, but there's no reason he should have known that. No. And they were just random. They would just be random things. We would just be talking and he would come up and tell me, Mama, fix my, remember when I got shot? No, Zane, you didn't get shot there. Yeah, Mama, I did. Right here, I got shot. You took me to the hospital. No, Zane, I did not take you to the hospital. I took your grandfather to the hospital. Why are you doing this to me? So just things like that he would come up and tell me, things about the horses, things about, painting. My dad painted cars. My dad did sheet metal. My dad, was in the military. just certain things that he should not have known. And my sons really didn't know either. Like my older sons, they wouldn't have told him. There's no way that they would have known. So my brother told me I was losing my mind. And then later on, my brother had his own experience of, my father. So always keep in mind your loved ones are around you. Always. Always keep in mind that your loved ones are around you. Even if you didn't get along with them, your loved ones are around you. Guess what? So I believe we are all connected in that way. And I find that even more so now. Like, again, the fiance I have now, like, we didn't know each other. And then we start to know each other. Well, he knows my friend from here, and he knows my friend from here. And, oh, wait, I know his friend of a friend, over here. Yeah, like, we're all connected. So if you don't think that we're not all connected and there's not a higher power and we're not doing something we're supposed to be doing here on earth, you are wrong. So find what you're supposed to do. Because I know it's hard. It's hard for me to figure out what I'm supposed to do. And it's taken me 54 years to do it. And all these years that I have had these feelings or these intuitions or whatever. And you have other people, like my father, who's told me, don't tell people you do that. They'll think you're crazy. No. Be true to yourself. Be true to yourself. So, not saying you should go out and do rob a bank or anything, but be true to yourself. I hate that light. I'm just gonna, there. No, shit. Sorry. Didn't mean to cuss. By the way, I cuss. I talk about random things, because that's just what I do. But I believe that we are all supposed to influence and motivate each other. My last job, I hated the job, not gonna lie. But I loved talking to people because I got to talk to and inspire people. There would be people that would say, you know what, I didn't know what I was supposed to do, and after talking to you, which again, I'll talk about that later. But you know what, it was great. I'm going to end this here, kind of, because the cards kind of fell with my story of, you know what, be true to yourself, live your best life. As my friend Liz always tells me, life is not a rehearsal. It's not a rehearsal. We get one chance, and one chance at all. And so for those of you, if you can, fix the relationships you have with your children, or if they want to fix it with your children or with your siblings or your parents or, a friend, fix that relationship. Like, we're not meant to stay here and be hateful. And you know what? You can sit there and say, oh, these are my boundaries. I'm not going to talk to them anymore. You didn't fix anything. You avoided it. You avoided it. Instead of coming to them and saying, hey, here's my issues. And one thing as an adult and just as a human being, we regretfully, we don't know how to forgive. We were never taught to forgive as humans. So learn forgiveness, learn patience, learn that, you know what? Just because you're not talking to somebody or you think that's how you're healing yourself, yeah, avoidance is good for a while, but it didn't fix anything. It didn't, you didn't fix anything. Yes, you have boundaries. I admit, do those boundaries, but at the same time, you didn't fix anything. You didn't fix anything about the problem. So, it is what it is. And yes, not everybody is supposed to be in your circle or whatever. People are going to show their colors, but, it is what it is. So be kind, because we're all going through something. So, all right, till tomorrow, I'm going to try and do a video a day. I know I'm sucking at this horribly, but I'm going to get through it. So, and keep moving and keep motivating. because I feel like that's what I'm supposed to do. Technically, everybody tells me I should write a book, but I just don't have the energy to write a book. So I'd rather just come on here and talk all day and motivate you that way. So, all right, have a great Tuesday. I will see you Wednesday because that's hump day and we are halfway through the week. And okay, also tell me this. I have a Halloween party to go to. My fiance wants to be, that toilet thing. He wants to do that. I was thinking of being from Green Acres, Lisa Douglas, from Eva Gabor. Everybody thinks it was Zsa Zsa. Is not Zsa Zsa Gabor. It was her sister Eva Gabor who played the character. Anyway, so I really want to do that. Like, that would be fun. But I don't know what everybody thinks. And then my boyfriend was like, well, you know what? I can wear, like, for him to be Farmer Douglas, wear overalls and he has a straw hat and then wear his little toilet thing over, because that's the way he rolls. Anyway, let me know what y'all think about that. Or maybe I'll post pictures about it. But yeah, the party's not till the 25th. So I gotta get in gear. So anyway, get into your spooky season. I put up my Halloween decorations, and I really didn't have a lot of decorations after I was divorced. Again, that's a whole other story to it, which we'll get into. Absolutely. So, all right. Great one. Peace be with you. Bye.